Ever since I got into 3D printing, I wanted to design something that I would end up using every single day. Something that could stand on its own as a product, all while embracing the advantages of 3D printing without any significant trade-offs. So today I'm going to show you my 3D printed frames that I've been wearing and testing for more than a year now. Right from the start, my main design requirement for these was the ability to easily swap lenses between frames. If I would get bored of the color scheme, I could just print another set in a different color or a different material. Years ago, I had a pair that I really liked, and after years of wearing it, it finally broke. And as you can imagine, I couldn't find a frame in the exact same shape and design, because that's simply not how the eyewear industry works. So I wanted to have ownership over the design and be able to have an identical replacement made whenever I felt like it or whenever I needed it. And also, I wanted this to be something that anyone else could use and have their own prescription lenses made, just like for any other commercially available frame. Before I go into more detail, let me introduce you to Prusa, the partner of today's video. If you're looking for a 3D printer that is both beginner-friendly and fully capable of industrial-grade printing, then Prusa is what you're looking for. All their printers are manufactured in the European Union and are built on top of an ethical foundation focused on repairability, long-term support, and an open-source ethos. The Core 1L that I have here is their latest enclosed printer and is fully capable of printing even demanding engineering materials. On top of that, the Bondtech Index system is coming to Prusa printers this year, offering very fast multi-material printing with near zero wasted filament, which is really incredible. The Core 1L has been a reliable printer for pumping out my 3D printed frames, and I can wholeheartedly recommend it to anyone looking for a high-end reliable printer. For now though, let's go over the features and assembly of what I'm calling the Hitomi Frames. Like I mentioned earlier, easy swapping of the lenses was my #1 priority, and I wanted to be able to do this in a reliable and repeatable way. There's an inner groove designed into the frame which holds the lenses in place, but it's actually the hinges, or rather these hinge plates, that complete the system, acting as retention clips. Each of these plates attach to the frame with a single M3 countersunk screw, which I've left visible as I feel it adds a bit of interest and opens up the design for extra customization. On the hinge plates themselves, I used heat-set threaded inserts to ensure that the frames can handle practically unlimited cycles of assembly and disassembly. Which brings us to the second design challenge, the hinges. This is definitely the most delicate area of any pair of frames, and of course, 3D printing comes with its own set of challenges here. The design obviously had to be strong, but I really wanted to avoid going overboard with thick hinges and temple arms, so I set myself some pretty aggressive constraints here, limiting the hinge thickness to just 8 mm. My initial prototype featured tiny M2 heat-set threaded inserts and screws, as I wanted to use the same approach as for the hinge plates, but this proved far too difficult when it came to actual assembly. So I looked for a simpler solution that still met my strength and reliability criteria. The solution I ended up with was to use M1.5 dowel pins and have them press fit in the hinges. The dowel pins pivot around the middle barrel of the hinges, while the outer barrels hold the pins in place via friction. After months of use, the hinges do get looser, but the dowel pins remain securely in place, which is great. It's such a simple solution, and I was surprised it worked as well as it did. And it just goes to show that sometimes there's no need to over-engineer things. The dowel pins are also removable when using the right approach, so it is possible to non-destructively take the hinges apart, which is great because the plates can be reused with other frames and temple arms. Another important detail I should mention here is what's called the pantoscopic tilt. This is the amount of angle that frames have relative to the wearer's face. Most, if not all, eyeglasses have it in varying degrees, and you'll notice that they never sit perfectly parallel to your face. This tilt is generally built into the hinges themselves, but on my Hitomi frames, this pantoscopic tilt is designed into the temple arms instead, with a kink towards the hinges. This allowed me to optimize the design for maximum layer adhesion and get a much cleaner looking print. When designing for FDM 3D printing, part orientation on the build plate is one of the main considerations to take into account, not only for strength, but also for surface quality. Generally, the best looking side of any print will be the side facing the build plate, and this is especially true when using a textured print surface, which helps hide extrusion lines. On top of that, you need to also think about layer adhesion and how that plays into part strength. 3D prints are strongest on the horizontal axis and weakest on the vertical axis, but inevitably you're going to have to make a compromise somewhere when designing a complex part. Lastly, if you design any steep overhanging features, you will need to use printed supports, which can lead to potentially worse quality where the supports attach to the part. I designed my frames to use no supports at all, and all the exterior facing sides of both the frame and the temple arms are printed face down onto the build plate in order to get the best surface quality possible, while also taking comfort into consideration. The nose bridge and the narrow sides of the temple arms are smooth along the direction of the printed layers, which makes them very comfortable to wear without any jagged edges or rough surfaces coming in contact with the wearer's skin. Now, this orientation does have some drawbacks since both the frame and the temple arms cannot be designed with a curve. For the frame, it's really not a big deal, but as you can imagine, there's no way temple arms can work without having a curve that goes around, well, the temples. My approach here was to simply heat shape the arms after printing. Yet again, it's a simple solution that just works, and there was simply no other way to do it without sacrificing strength or quality. I even designed a printable jig to help me get consistent results and give the temple arms the exact same shape every single time. I applied the same technique for the frame in order to add a subtle curvature there as well, but this step is optional as the frames are equally comfortable even without the curvature. Now let's also talk a bit about material choice, as the filament used when printing these can make a great deal of difference in pretty much every single way. Let's start with PLA, as it's the most common 3D printing material. It prints very nicely, comes in pretty much every color you can imagine, and it's industrially compostable, as its base polymer polylactic acid is derived from plant starch. The drawback is that it doesn't handle heat very well, and it suffers from creep, meaning it deforms over time when subjected to a constant mechanical load. To put it simply, a frame printed out of PLA will tend to lose its shape over time. It's not a complete deal breaker though. In fact, my favorite pair is printed with this recycled PLA from Prusa. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and you'd have a tough time telling this was 3D printed at all. Creep is definitely a thing though, and the temple arms especially do get looser over time, but not to the point that they would fall off my head. That said, I would not leave these in my car on a hot summer day. A step way above this would be using ABS or ASA filament, which is a polymer that can be considered an engineering material in the true sense. These filaments have high thermal resistance, withstanding up to 90 degrees Celsius, and they don't suffer from creep in the same way PLA does. ASA is also UV resistant, which no doubt is a plus for a wearable design like my frames. The drawback with ABS and ASA is that they release toxic fumes while printing. An enclosed printer is absolutely mandatory, as well as some sort of active filtration, like this advanced filtration unit that I have on my Prusa Core 1L. It does an outstanding job at eliminating absolutely any smell when printing ASA, ABS, and even PLA, which, while non-toxic, does tend to smell quite strongly. Now, color choice is not as diverse as with PLA, but I made quite a few color combinations that I think can look really awesome, depending on the wearer's style, of course. There's also PETG, which is a nice middle ground. It's non-toxic when printing and has better properties than PLA, but it tends to print quite shiny, and because of that, it may look a little cheap. In the end, it all depends on the choice of colors and the particular style one is going for. I wrote a very comprehensive guide on my EIGA Works website, where I go into extensive detail on how to get a pair of the Hitomi frames printed, fitted, and assembled. I'm even considering selling pre-assembled frames directly, so do check the link down in the description to find out more about that. Now, do keep in mind that even with all my efforts to make this project feel as close as possible to a pair of real frames, they are still 3D printed, and there's no hiding that fact. That said, I do genuinely feel like this is as good as it can possibly get. I find them to be super comfortable and light, and I simply forget that they are 3D printed most of the time. Of course, there's a bias here considering that I made them. I even have a printed kit that I wore for about 6 months, and the only reason I changed to another one was simply because I made some design changes for the release version, and I wanted to try out other filaments as well. So yeah, I'm more than happy with the result, and I'm also open to designing the frames in more styles if there's enough interest. This has definitely been a different kind of video, especially for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, but I know a lot of you are interested in design and 3D printing, so hopefully you found this video interesting. That's going to be it for now, but I'll see you down in the comments as I'm very excited to read what you guys have to say. I'll see you in the next one real soon. Bye for now.